Welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Map Podcast, and it's been quite a while since I've done an episode. But anyway, I'm back, and I'm here to do a series of special episodes. Next Wednesday, Terminator Genisys comes out. So in honor of that, I'm going to be doing a series of special episodes. Today I'm going to be doing an episode on Terminator, the Terminator from 1984. Then the plan is today I'm going to be doing Terminator. Then tomorrow I'm planning on doing Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Then next Tuesday, I'll be doing Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Then on next Wednesday, which is when Terminator Genisys is going to open up in theaters, I'll be doing Terminator Salvation. So that's what I have planned for the next few episodes. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And let's go ahead and get some shoutouts done. First of all, Chucky's Playground, great place to be. If you haven't signed up yet, definitely check it out. It's an awesome place to be. And Movie Mayhem with Spanky and G, a great podcast. If you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. It's always an enjoyable podcast to listen to, very entertaining. So definitely check it out. So now it's time to talk about the Terminator. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. The film starts off in 1984, which is when the movie was released. And two beings from 2029 arrive. And one is the Terminator, the T-800 to be specific. And it's a cyborg who is out to kill Sarah Connor. At the beginning of the film, he ends up showing up. And he ends up killing two people who just happen to be named Sarah Connor. And then the other person that shows up from the future is Kyle Reese, who's a human resistance fighter. And he's assigned to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator. And in the Terminator, the T-800 eventually tracks Sarah Connor to a nightclub. And Sarah Connor is pretty much a normal woman. She works a job at a diner. She lives in I believe in an apartment with her roommate Ginger. And really, she basically lives a normal life. And Terminator ends up trying to kill her, but Kyle Reese ends up showing up and saves Sarah from the Terminator, and the two are able to escape. And after this is when Kyle Reese begins to explain the whole backstory to Sarah, why he's here, why the T-800 is trying to kill her, killing everybody named Sarah Connor. And in the near future, the government will create an artificial intelligence defense network, which is known as Skynet. And at first, it's all fine and dandy. But soon after that, it'll become self-aware and just wipe out almost everything on the Earth. And then Kyle Reese ended up being born after he grew up into this apocalypse world. And Sarah's son, John, and he'll rally the survivors, and he'll basically be the savior of all mankind. And so Skynet sends the T-800 back in time to kill Sarah before John is born. And it's sort of like a last-second effort on their part. And the Terminator is a killing machine. And it's basically a cyborg on the inside, but on the outside it resembles a human being, which is really interesting. So, and the Terminator is just pretty much unstoppable in this one. Just, very much a Determinator, if you excuse the pun. Just will not stop at nothing until his mission is complete. And soon after the backstory is complete, they end up getting attacked by the Terminator again, which leads to a car chase, and it's just really good. A really good car chase. They end up crashing into a wall. Kyle and Sarah are caught by the police, but T-800 ends up escaping. And so Kyle is questioned by Dr. Silverman, and they end up concluding that he's paranoid and crazy and all that stuff. Sarah's also questioned, and the T-800 goes to kind of like a motel or something like that. And this is where the film gets really interesting, because we get to see some of the special effects at work here. And like the Terminator sort of performs kind of surgery on itself, kind of performs like treatment. And we see how its arm works. Like he takes apart his arm, and you see all the inner workings of it, and it's really quite amazing. And he ends up taking out his eye at one point, and you get to see like the red light thing, dot thing, whatever it's called, and it looks really cool. This is where the special effects are really cool. Though at some point you can kind of tell that it's a fake Arnold head when it's doing the eye thing, but it still looks pretty amazing. The T-100 ends up going to the police station, and this is where it gets pretty cool, because the Terminator just ends up crashing the car right into the police station. Pretty much a massacre of the entire police station, killing pretty much all of its police officers or so. And so Sarah and Kyle escape, spend the night under a bridge, and then they seek refuge in a motel. And then they end up having sex, and this is how John Connor ends up getting conceived. And then the Terminator ends up trekking into the motel, and they escape with a pickup truck. And and this is a really good chase, like it really is. And Terminator just emerges from a burning truck, and it just looks really cool. He's engulfed in flames, and it just looks really amazing. At some points, it looks like a Star Wars cremation scene, but but the Terminator, guess what? He's still alive, and its flesh is now burned away. All it is just an endoskeleton at this point in time, and this is where the special effects get really interesting again, because the way the Terminator moves here, like at some points it looks like trying to think of the word, animatronic. That's it. It kind of looks like an animatronic puppet at some points, but when we see like a full body shot of it moving, it definitely looks like it's stop motion. And I mean, not that the stop motion looks bad necessarily, it actually looks pretty cool, but that's just something that I kind of noticed. So they pursue him into a factory, and this is where the final chase sequence ends up taking place. And Kyle ends up jamming a final pipe bomb into the Terminator, and an explosion kills Kyle, injures Sarah, and then Terminator somehow is still alive from all of this. He only has one arm now. His legs are completely gone. Just going after Sarah. And finally, she activates some type of hydraulic press, pretty much crushes the T-800 down. And just crushes him, and it finally terminates him, finally ends him. So, and that final chase was really good as well. So, several months later, Sarah, who's pregnant now with John, and she's traveling through Mexico, and she's recording audio tapes that she's going to pass down to John when he gets older, I'm assuming. And she's sort of like, she's conflicted whether to actually tell him that Kyle is his father or not. But she stops at a gas station, and a boy takes a photograph of her, and she purchases it, and it's going to be the same photograph that John will give later to Kyle in the near future. And that's pretty much the end of the movie, basically. And this will lead to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So as far as the actual movie goes, it's pretty good. I mean, you know, for what it is, it's sort of like a sleeper hit at the box office because no one really thought that it would be a success, and it ended up being a pretty iconic movie. I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best Terminator movie, and I'll save that for next time. But this movie is still pretty good. Effects. Some of the effects do look kind of weird, but for the most part, they're pretty effective. And I do think that some of them still hold up today. Um, the acting is really good as well. Pretty much what you would expect out of a sci-fi action, somewhat of a horror movie. So overall, the Terminator is really good. If you haven't seen it, I'd say definitely check it out. Definitely, because it's a pretty good film, a very good action film. So I'd say definitely check it out. So that's all for this episode of the Melmat Podcast. And when I come back, most likely tomorrow, I will be doing this sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So be sure to check that out, and I'll see you all next time.